Hey guys, Gavin McLeavy here, the rugby director at Athletes USA. I'm at Life University here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've got one of our placements, the young Tendai Rioga. Is that the right pronunciation?
Yes, it is, sir.
I crushed it?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, good stuff. So Tendai is one of our players that we placed here at Life University for rugby specifically, and so we're just going to get a little bit of information from him and see how he's been doing here over the last couple of months. So firstly though, tell us how you got into rugby in the first place.
Well, I got into rugby from a very young age. From age 10, I've always wanted to play the sport because I was quite a big lad when I was young, and it was hard for me to play other sports. So it was quite interesting for me just going into rugby, and from there I think I had a talent and just continued to pursue.
So you're from South Africa, but you were born in Zimbabwe, correct?
Yes, I was born in Zimbabwe, but we moved to South Africa when I was a very young age.
Okay, so most of your rugby education is come from South Africa.
Yes.
But obviously good pedigree.
Yes,
awesome.
good platform.
So what kind of level of rugby did you play in South Africa?
I ended off at a provincial level state. I ended up representing the Sharks, where that was the province I was
That's
living
massive. That's a really good level.
Yes, it is. And I ended up playing for the under 18 for the Sharks, and I played at academy level at provincial.
Awesome. Yeah. So we're bringing in pretty solid rugby players for a school like Life University. It's important. So by doing that, how is the program at Life University now that you're here and you've got your feet under the table, so to speak? How are you doing with the actual Life program? How do you feel it runs here?
Well, the program here is quite different from what I expected. I thought it was going to be more like what I was used to in South Africa, but it's much faster. They're more tactical, and they're more focused on your specific position. They want to make sure that you're the best player you can be in your position.
Which position do you play?
I play prop, tight end.
Okay, you're a big lad.
I'm quite big.
Strong as an ox. Yeah, no, the props, forwards in general out of South Africa tend to be very strong, very aggressive lads, so I'm pretty sure you can hang here, no problems.
I think I can cope.
So what do you do on an average day as a student athlete here at Life?
Well, on an average day, you have to include the training and the schooling. We have morning lifts, afternoon lifts, we have practices, and we have classes. So we have a tight schedule. We're focused on what we have to do, and we have a lot of assistance from our coaches and all the people there. They make sure that we are on par. We make sure we on time for everything that we do.
Right, very regimented.
Yes.
Okay. And where we went over to the weight room over there at the side of the field. So you're in there first thing in the morning? Is it real early or later in the day?
Well, it depends on the time schedule you have for your classes.
Okay, so the class is a priority, and then they fit the rugby in around it.
But of course, if you are a freshman, usually it is your time schedule usually is in the morning, so you can get your stuff sorted out later on during the day. So usually we'll be there at 6, maybe 6:45. Get our weights in. Afterwards, we go back home, get changed, get showered, and get ready to hit the books. Okay,
good. So you get the rugby in, but it does go around the education.
Yeah, schooling is very important. Yeah.
Priority.
The coaches always make sure that we focus on education.
And what about keeping your grades up? What kind of is there a lot of pressure to stay at a certain level on your grades and get into classes? Obviously,
I don't think there's a lot of pressure. If you include the resources that are provided to us, the tutoring, the professors always being there, we have to be able to communicate with all our coaches and tell us if we have an issue somewhere so they can help us. I think the level that we have to keep at is 2.0, a GPA of 2.0, so we can be eligible to play.
Okay.
And I believe that it's manageable as players because we have such a big support system.
Yeah. So they do well for you, not just on the rugby side of things, which is very important at Life University. Life University is a rugby school per se, so that's obviously a huge thing. But the education is something that they do prioritize for you. That's awesome. So how do you find the competition in rugby? Comparing it to South Africa, so USA rugby compared to South Africa. Obviously, South Africa are a more traditional rugby nation, but USA's getting there. So how would you compare the two?
Well, American people are athletes. They are quite good athletes, but you can tell the difference in power and the level of skill compared to South African rugby players and American rugby players. And I think it's just a matter of time for them to catch up, or maybe get to a level that other countries are in, like South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, etc. And I think the competition isn't that much intense. It's not that hard compared to South African rugby.
It's
Yeah.
a skill level. The skill level's maybe a little lower, but the athleticism of the American kids is higher.
I think it's because of the other sports they play here.
And what's I mean, maybe you don't know, but the balance between foreign kids playing in the rugby team and American kids, is it sort of 50-50 split, or does it seem to be predominantly Americans with a sprinkling of foreigners like yourself?
I think it's a fair amount. I think it's a fair amount where there's always American players that do play when there's foreign players on the field, and I think it's an equal balance.
Okay, they get a good mix. Yes. I think it's good for USA Rugby to have that exposure as well. For having the American kids exposed to players like yourself from abroad.
I mean, they do learn from how we play, and we learn from them as well. I mean, there's different ways they do things, and there's different ways they play on the field, and movements and everything, and you can always learn that on the pitch when you're with different teammates.
Interesting. Okay. And what about the cultural side of things? How's the transition from South Africa to the USA culturally?
Oh, it's the food.
The food? The food's a big one?
The food's one of the major factors.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
No comment.
You don't want to criticize it.
It's just different. The food here is different. The way people act is different.
Sure.
Yeah. The accents maybe as well, but the cultural basis is quite different from what I'm used to. But I believe in due time I'll settle in.
Right. Yeah. You've only been here 3-4 months?
3 months.
3 months. Yeah. So you're still pretty new to it.
Yeah.
Still trying to get your head around it.
Fresh out the oven. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. And so regarding Athletes USA, how did you find the support from Athletes USA? Was it a big help for you? Is it something that you would recommend?
I actually would recommend Athletes USA. They're very beneficial in a lot of factors. They helped me with communicating with a lot of the coaches that I couldn't do on my own.
Sure.
They helped me be able to keep my stuff sorted, even with the application process and the documentation for me to even get visas and everything. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
And Ben Dietz was the agent that I was assigned with.
Yeah.
And he was very helpful.
Yeah.
Like throughout the whole process.
Yeah, Ben Dietz is the placement director for Athletes USA, so getting in touch with him, I'm sure, is vital. He's kind of the main man, isn't he? He really does know. He knows the ins and outs of just getting into college and all of that, so that's awesome. And so once you've got 3-4 years here, what are your plans afterwards? You planning on going professional maybe, or obviously here? Firstly, what are you studying here? So your plan to go into?
Well, I'm doing a dual major of business and IT.
Business and IT,
Business
okay.
administration and IT. And my main goal, of course, as a rugby player is always to go professional. But as a rugby player, you also have to understand that you always have to have a platform. And education is one of the main cornerstones in life. You need to have a degree in anything you do. But I would love to, if hopefully America has a professional league that is thriving, I would love to actually have an opportunity to play here. Or maybe go back home and see what I can do there.
Right. So you're pretty much, well, it's your first year. You've got lots of time to figure it out, but don't take too long.
I won't.
All right, mate. Thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. Tendai Rioga from South Africa at Life University, and we'll see where it goes. We'll keep an eye on you over the next 4 years, mate.
Okay, so no problem.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, guys.